materials, and services. Just stop in or start at BLDR.com. That's BLDR.com. Builders for Source. Build it.
The doctors and staff at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center have provided expert bone, joint, and muscle care to patients in the Black Hills area since 1976. Whether you're an elite athlete, a weekend warrior, or just want to continue your active lifestyle, the orthopedic experts at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center will help you stay in the game. Don't let an injury keep you from doing the things you love. Trust the team at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, specializing in what moves you. Learn more at BHOSC.com.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
White or wheat, classic or old-fashioned, with or without sesame seed. With so many choices, selecting the right bun for your perfectly grilled burgers, hot dogs, and brats can seem overwhelming. Relax. The bakers at Village Hearth have made your choice easy. With state-of-the-art bakeries and facilities throughout the Midwest, our buns are baked and delivered by folks just like you. So when you see the familiar red Village Hearth logo on the package, you'll be selecting the freshest, most flavorful buns available. Village Hearth buns, baked locally, delivered fresh daily.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
No. The Milwaukee Bucks waived Damian Lillard today, and the remaining $113 million left on his contract will be spread out over the next 5 years. Lillard's now a free agent, and NBA insider Chris Haynes reports that Lillard has already received interest from other teams around the NBA despite rehabbing that Achilles injury. The Bucks did sign former Pacers center Miles Turner to a 4-year deal worth $107 million. Nuggets today acquired center Jonas Valanciunas for Dario Saric in a trade with Sacramento. Denver also signed guard Tim Hardaway Jr. The Oklahoma City Thunder gave Shai Gilgeous-Alexander a supermax deal, 4 years, $285 million, $71.25 million annually, is the highest ever in NBA history. Caitlin Clark out for the Fever tonight against Minnesota. George Springer's homered twice, including a grand slam. Toronto leads the Yankees 9-4 in the top of the 8th inning on Canada Day in Toronto. I'm Dan Beyer.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, good Tuesday afternoon to you. Are we ready to go on this Tuesday? We are ready. South Dakota Sports Talk Show is back. We're live on Fox Sports Radio across the state. Welcome in wherever you're listening. Thanks for spending some time with us. Let's get after it. Remember, it's always a great day in South Dakota, no matter what. Thunderstorms around. Just remember, always a great day in South Dakota. Summer, and we're going to have a good one tonight. Really, really good. The Nate Brown Show is back on Fox Sports Radio. Welcome in. Also on Twitter. If you're watching there, follow us and watch us live at Nate Brown Show on X. And also on YouTube right now, The Nate Brown Show. We are live. Archive shows there. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, The Nate Brown Show, and you've got us. This Tuesday looks really, really good. A lot to cover tonight. From high school to college to the pros, we got a great guest lineup. Let's look at it. Jason Andera's going to pop by tonight. High school sports analyst from Sioux Falls, inside the 605. Jandy, you want to talk to... there was this survey that went out about Sioux Falls high school athletics and middle school athletics. And so I thought this was really interesting, and it's not foolproof. It's not like every single kid, but it was a big survey, and it showed how many kids play sports in Sioux Falls schools, middle school to high school, and it went through each sport and looked at the numbers. I think that's an interesting snapshot. We're going to get into that. What's popular in Sioux Falls, and how does that reflect on where sports is at and certain sports are at? Jason Andera coming up, high school sports analyst inside the 605. We'll go national tonight with Brian Noe. He's back on. Haven't talked to Brian for a while. He's in tonight. Fox Sports Radio's national host. The show is countdown on the weekends. And Brian knows, and on the Nate Brown Show tonight. Chris Denker's popping in from California, pro basketball scout, Division I coach, now AAU club director. Chris Denker talking everything hoops, netscoutsbasketball.com, live from San Jose. And we'll go to the baseball side tonight. So Post 22 is the number 1 seed in Legion baseball. Can they hang on to it? Is Post 22 a favorite this year to win the State Legion baseball tournament? Big tournament in Rapid City. The Firecracker gets going tomorrow. We'll talk to the head coach of the Hard Hats, Kelvin Torvey, coming up. Let's get you on if you want in. 605-720-1067 is our number. That's the Pizza Ranch Studio hotline. 605-720-1067. Invite you on. Pizza Ranch Studio hotline powered by the Pizza Ranch. Tonight, stop by the buffet at East 10th Street, Sioux Falls, also in Brandon. 2 locations in Rapid City. It's the home of everyone's favorite buffet, no doubt. Your locally owned and operated Pizza Ranch tonight. Also, the Barron's Wilson text line open. If you want to text the show, you can do that. 605-720-1067. Barron's Wilson listener text line for you, 605-720-1067. Okay, I'm going to get into the Sioux Falls High School Sports Survey coming up. And there's one sport that grabbed my attention, and I'm going to compare it to another one. I'm going to get into that coming up. But I'll start with the topic of the day, and something I'm very plugged in on. I'm not plugged in on much in life, but I'm plugged in on this. And by the way, save me some of these guys coming on Fox Sports Radio today. Some of these guys acting like they watch the WNBA all the time and they know about the Caitlin Clark scenario. Some of these guys just pick up the paper from their producer and they say, what are we going to talk about today? They just popped in like an hour ago. So save me some of the, I can't believe this. I can't believe that. I'm going to tell you, I watch the Indiana Fever and the WNBA probably more than most. Let me just say that. Probably more than most. I just went to Seattle last week and watched Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever play the Seattle Storm. We've done family vacations the last 2 years, so you could call me an Indiana Fever fan, okay? You could call me a fan. I didn't think I would become that, but I became that over the last 2 years following Caitlin Clark and then getting to know the rest of the players and following the game. I really like the games. I really think the games are really solid. They're different than the NBA, different than college. Really good stuff. So I'm going to come at this from a WNBA side that I feel like I have some knowledge about. I'm not a lifelong fan. I've admitted that. I've told you why I'm in this thing and heavily invested. It involves also my daughter who plays basketball and the coverage and following that and watching games with her. So there's all these connections. So I'm dialed in. I'm going through things last night after the show, and I'm saying, how did this all-star vote thing go down? And I want to see how this goes when Caitlin Clark gets to pick her roster for the all-star game. They're going to pick the rosters next Tuesday, a week from today, and they're going to pick the rosters, and Caitlin's one of the captains. Okay, so she gets to pick her team out of the all-stars that were already voted in by the fans, the media, and the players. And so then I come across some information, and now people are talking about this nationally today, but I come across some information, and it shows where the players voted Caitlin Clark in the WNBA. It's 25% of the formula. Players get to vote, rank your top guards, okay? And so you rank your top 4 guards, and then they come up with a scoring system. So if you put Caitlin Clark in your top 4, she's going to get a pretty good score from the players, and then that's how it's going to go. So the fans just set a record for the most votes ever for a player in the history of the WNBA. Guess who? Caitlin Clark. I mean, that's not a surprise. I've been to these games on the road. You've seen her moved into huge venues when the Fever come to town, in Las Vegas, to Chicago, to wherever. So the fans just set a record. Caitlin Clark got the most votes ever by fans in all-star voting in the history of the WNBA. So you would think this year, too, she might have some more respect, maybe from some of the players in the WNBA. Maybe she's been getting roughed up and pushed around. We understand. But the players vote on this, and so she comes in as the 9th ranked guard. So you've heard that if you've been listening to Fox Sports Radio today. Caitlin Clark's the 9th-ranked guard, and people are acting, up in arms and things like this. I've got two things on this. It's just an unbelievable gap in respect from the players to Caitlin Clark, and not the hype machine that she is for the league per se, but the player that she actually is. And it reminds me of last year with the USA basketball deal. Caitlin Clark people were trying to tell you she's just not quite good enough. She's just getting into her own in the WNBA. She's not as good as some of these players on Team USA. She shouldn't have been on Team USA. I felt like she should have, not only for her brand, but for her play if you actually watched the Fever in the WNBA. So you got to kind of watch the games. Is she ranked number 1 in every category? She's not. She's been hurt. She's been injured. But you're still trying to tell me the players come at this with an unbelievable gap of respect for Caitlin Clark as a player. And it comes down to it. You'd never see this in the NFL with players saying, well, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, one of those guys just, they're all okay, but I'm going to rank one of those guys 9th. I'm just, let's say Josh Allen, who's not quite the face of the NFL yet, I'm going to rank him 9th just because he thinks he's a little better than he is. I'm going to rank Josh Allen 9th amongst the quarterbacks, and you'd never see that in the NFL from players. Yet you're seeing it from the WNBA players, and so it's just it's not one of those things where you look and say, well, I can't believe that. What's going on here and things like this. You understand human nature. Everybody has it. It's the number one thing is just the jealousy of what Caitlin Clark is doing and how fans love Caitlin Clark. So the fans vote her number 1. She becomes a captain. The players, there was a lot of them that must have left her off even in the top 4 guards because she came in at 9th. You rank your top 4 guards. That's how it works. So there must have been a lot of players that said, yeah, she's not even in my top 4, which is ludicrous. I mean, it's absolutely ludicrous. So the players are trying to still say, we want to push back and we still think we're the best of the best. We didn't need Caitlin Clark. We already had good crowds coming. We had some charter flights coming. We had some better salaries coming. They won't wake up. And they still just don't get it. So I want to ask a question tonight. My big question tonight is, will the WNBA players ever get it? That's my big question today. Not, well, it's been year 1 and now it's year 2, so she's still new and she's still trying to find her way and people kind of think she's edgy and stuff. My point is, my question is, do you think the WNBA players will ever, like this group, that whoever's going against Caitlin and not appreciating this and not respecting her game, normally players recognize good players, and in this case, they're just totally blinded. They're absolutely blinded by the jealousy of what she's done and the fame and attention that she gets, as opposed to they think, well, we should have got this. And my question is, will they ever wake up and say, Caitlin Clark is really, really good. And I ask that because the old guard likes saying, these are the new kids. A lot of times the veterans say, let's have some respect for the veterans. These guys are new kids. Do you think the WNBA players will ever, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, will Caitlin Clark still be voted as number 9 when it comes to the All-Star votes from the players? And by the way, this is leaked over to even her team. They voted Aaliyah Boston, who's an outstanding player out of South Carolina, a great player, former number 1 pick. Aaliyah Boston's the 9th best post player, they said in their voting. It's like, 9th best post player. That's amazing to me. And I feel like that's the Caitlin effect. Well, I don't want anybody on Caitlin's team, right? We got the Fever thing is just overblown and everybody hypes them, and that's the only reason people watch the WNBA, which they should be grateful for. My question is, I can't answer the question tonight. I don't know if the WNBA players will actually ever, this old guard, whoever this is, this chunk of players, I don't know if they'll ever come around and realize, like the golf world did, Tiger has elevated our entire sport. I don't know if they will ever realize that. That's kind of a thing. That's kind of what I thought today. I said, well, they surely wouldn't, continue this animosity and continue this jealousy. And, it's not going to be league-wide. It's really not a league-wide thing, is it? Well, it must be enough that they vote Caitlin Clark 9th best guard, so people actually left her off their ballots. They left her off the ballots, and it's just ridiculous. I don't understand. And the WNBA is not going to get more respect this way. The other players aren't going to get more respect this way. It's just going to keep on being the Caitlin Fest, and all the fans want Caitlin. You should be able to bring more fans into your games and appreciate it, yet they're pushing back with their negativity, the jealousy, the animosity, and they're going to drive some people further wedges in there. I'm with Caitlin and nobody else, and I don't think that's the way it should be. By the way, let's see. Listener text, petty and full of envy and jealousy. Yeah, that's, let's see, listener text. Caitlin Clark's the WNBA version of Curry, by far the most exciting player to watch. Change the WNBA. It's clear the players don't respect her or like her. See, here's the thing. I don't even know if the players have to like you per se to vote you top 4 on their ballot. With the level of play that she's been at, the type of player she is, passing, shooting, just that skills on the offensive side. She's not good on defense, I will say that, but we're not voting for the best defensive guard, I hate to tell you. So the type of player she is, she's top 4 easy guards. Easy. So that should have been a really easy decision. And instead they make it hard, and I'm not so sure they're going to keep this. I think this thing might keep going. I think it might keep going for quite some time. We'll see if I'm wrong. Let's see. Listener text, they are jealous. Well, no, that's what it is. That's what it is. So, listener text, Nate, have you seen Caitlin Clark's numbers this year? Well, yes, I've seen the numbers. I know the numbers. I just said she's not having a great year. She's having a pretty good year. And when she's been injured, pretty big chunks of this season, that hasn't helped either. Shooting-wise, she's been a little off, I will tell you. She's just been 1 for 28 from three-point range on away games. So I know the numbers. But if you actually watch the games, are you trying to tell me Caitlin Clark's the 9th best guard? You can't. You just can't. So, all right, speaking of basketball, let me get to this. So Sioux Falls just released this high school sports survey, and I find it really interesting. I'm going to talk to Jason Andera coming up about it. It's not just high school sports, it's also middle school sports. So they sent it out. They got a lot of responses on it. Not everybody, so it's not a blanket across the board, but it gives you a big enough snapshot to see what's the data here on participation of high school athletics and middle school athletics in the Sioux Falls School District. And here's what they find out. Here's one thing that jumps out. Basketball girls playing basketball from middle school to high school, 461 players. This is 7th grade through senior. 7th through senior, 461 basketball players. This is girls. While I'm on the Caitlin Clark topic, go to volleyball. 727. 461 girls playing basketball, 727 girls playing volleyball. This is in Sioux Falls. And this goes back to what I've talked about on the show. When was that? A few weeks ago? I had a respected sports guy in this state come and talk to me. He said, volleyball's going to outpace basketball 2-1. And he said he thinks it might be 3-1 down the road. And I was like, well, that's a pretty big number. Well, it's almost 2-1 right now. It's almost 2-1. So he said it's going to be 2-1. If you just look at Sioux Falls, 7th grade to senior, almost 300 more players doing volleyball than basketball. So I'm going to talk to Jason Andera about this. My question of the day tonight is, why is that the case? That's my question of the day. Why is that the case? Is volleyball seen as easier physically? I don't have to get up and down the floor and get knocked around, and I'm a small player. I can't compete with the big dogs, and I get forearms shivered like Caitlin Clark. Anyway, so is that part of it, easier physically? Or is basketball, I thought about this, is it too exclusive? Because you look at the Sioux Falls survey, there's 15 seniors left playing basketball around the Sioux Falls high schools by their senior year. That's so you're going to say 15 seniors. Well, if you break up the public schools, it's about 4 each in the senior class at each school. That's probably about right. I hate to say it. People are like, is that's the number, 4 seniors at each school? That's probably about right. Is basketball too exclusive? Is it too exclusive? If I'm not the top 7, if I'm not in the top 6 or 7, I don't get to play, so then I start bailing as a sophomore. For example, 167 kids played as 8th graders in Sioux Falls. This is just last year. 167 girls played basketball as 8th graders. It goes down to 36 by sophomores. 167 as 8th graders, 36 by sophomores. So it trims down quick. Is it because the girls find out I'm not a starter and I'm not even in the top 6, top 7, I'm out? What do you say it is? Volleyball is outpacing basketball in Sioux Falls, and it probably gives us a snapshot. Is that how it is in South Dakota? Why is volleyball more participation right now in Sioux Falls? Interesting snapshot. You tell me. Easier physically, the physical aspects of the sports, or too exclusive on the basketball side? 605-720-1067. Text us on the text line, and I'll ask Jason and Dara. We'll start the discussion there next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Santa came early. Renewal by Anderson's incredible Christmas in July event is so great, even Santa's shocked at the savings. Get 20% off plus no money down, no interest, and no payments for 18 months. That means no payments till 2027. Renewals Acclaim and Ensemble lines are the best of the best. Santa's not waiting till December to get new windows and doors. Neither should you. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute, and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
Offer from Denny Menholt Toyota. Use your phone. It's fast and easy. Pull up our website, click on Value Trade-In, scan your VIN, and tell us about your car. You are on your way to a no-hassle, no-commitment cash offer on your vehicle in under 5 minutes. Bring your vehicle and your Kelley Blue Book instant cash offer to Denny Menholt Toyota and get cash or trade-in credit today. See you soon at Denny Menholt Toyota, Rapid City.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear, Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
In the past, if you needed auto body repair, you had to get multiple estimates and then try to get your car into a shop for repair. Well, not anymore. In most cases, you can stop by one shop, get your estimate, and schedule your car for a repair. The question now becomes which shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold iCar certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty. And they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
Welcome back in South Dakota Sports Talk Show, back on a Tuesday. Glad you're here. Hope you've had a great day. The afternoon drive just getting going on Fox Sports Radio, and the Nate Brown Show is on. Where did we vote Caitlin Clark for All-Star Guards? Well, number one, of course, but I don't know as much as the WNBA players. They voted her number 9. The 9th best guard. It's amazing. That's something. No wonder she didn't make Team USA last year. She's just not that good. How did Iowa do so well those 2 years? But anyway, let's go to Jason Andera, high school sports analyst, on tonight from Sioux Falls. Inside the 605 is where you'll find him. Hey, fall sports will be here before you know it. I know we're in summer, so we don't want to rush it here. But find him at 605 Jandy on X, 605 Jandy. Jason, how are you tonight?
I am doing great. Great to be on the Nate Brown Show.
I appreciate that, man. Let me get into something. This survey in Sioux Falls about middle school and high school sports. I thought this was really interesting. I love that this came out. Looking at athletic participation, a couple of things jump out to me. One, they looked at middle school to high school kids, and they almost got 50% of kids playing athletics of some sort. It's 49.5% participation rate. I think that's pretty good. What do you say?
I do too. I remember, I'm just turned 50, and I'm remembering back into the, early 90s, late 80s, and I don't think that number was even close to that. I think it was much lower, and I know from this study that they said that the numbers have gone up and up and up the last couple times that they've done this study. So just to have that many participants means that you need that many coaches and that you need that many equipment and that much space to make it work, and Sioux Falls does a good job of making it all work.
Okay, so I want to ask you think the participation is up because offerings are up, like more activities, or do you actually think, hey, kids are actually probably participating more because sports are something now that's growing? What do you think it is?
I do. I think there's the bigger importance on youth sports now than ever. You look at how many travel teams, how many club teams, how much is invested in training, and it's kind of that game, when you're the parent, you want to be part of the same thing that everybody else is a part of. And, when all your friends are playing sports, then you're playing sports too. Yes, there's a lot of video game playing. There's a lot of hanging out, in front of the screens that happen a lot. But there's a lot of people who are spending a lot of time playing sports. And whether they're playing, the club sports and the travel team stuff, they're playing the school sports as well, and that's good news.
Talking to Jason Andera, high school sports analyst, live from Sioux Falls. Sioux Falls School District did this athletic participation survey and some interesting numbers. Here's one I just talked about on the girls' side. I had a South Dakota sports guy talk to me a few weeks ago, and he said, Nate, volleyball is the thing now for girls. He said volleyball is going to outpace basketball 2-1, he said, maybe 3-1 in the future. So this Sioux Falls survey says he's kind of close. 727 volleyball players, 461 basketball players. Why is volleyball overtaking basketball?
No, I tell you what, volleyball is a sport where everybody on the court feels like they're pulling in the same direction and has to pull their weight. I think in basketball, it ends up being a sport of stars, and you get, one or two or three kids on the court that are doing most of the work for you. And after a while, girls especially, if they're not a star in the team, they kind of lose interest, I guess, is what I basically am saying. And then in volleyball, there's a spot for everybody. There's a position. They can hit it to anywhere they want on the court. You have to be able to play. I think they feel more part of a team when they're playing volleyball. So I think that has part of it to do with it. I think volleyball in South Dakota has done a great job of promoting the sport over the last 5 or 10 years. And I think it's an exciting sport that goes by fairly quickly, and it's just got a lot of things going for it right now. And we've seen the popularity of volleyball skyrocket on ESPN and some of the national networks that carry college volleyball, and that definitely trickles down into the high school ranks. And I agree. I think volleyball is on the up and up for sure.
Here's the thing people are debating today on my question of the day. People have responded. I had a college volleyball coach get in the middle of this, and other people's. So I said, do girls play volleyball? What's the reason? Is it easier physically, meaning I don't have to get roughed up, I don't have to sprint down the court up and down, up and down? I had a listener say, yeah, that's the reason. So I think that can be legitimate, but people are pushing back on that. Do you think basketball is harder physically, rough, and strenuous?
Yes, and you'll talk to people who play both sports. I remember talking to Emma Ronsick O'Gorman. She would play one of the best volleyball players in the state and one of the best basketball players in the state. And she said when it was time to get into basketball season, it was a whole different level of physical activity. And and I agree. There's so much more running, jumping, impact. Yes, you have to jump, run, impact in volleyball as well, but it's nothing close to what is demanded of you in basketball. So I definitely think that's part of it as well.
Okay, so I'm not saying the skills are easier, right? I'm not saying skills.
Right.
I'm saying just physically strenuous. So that's kind of, I think that's got to be a part of it. By the way, do you think club volleyball has exploded? I've seen on both sides of the state. Yes. I'm going to say, I don't know what, the last 10 years, has it exploded more than, or is it just me?
No, it definitely has, and we've seen it with Adrenaline around here on the east half of the state, especially where they're doing a lot of their off-season camps, and how much that's exploded, how much they've done to promote the sport. That's helped a ton, but it's everywhere. I mean, and really, Nebraska is one of the hot spots for volleyball, and they started to kind of bleed into South Dakota a little bit more and more over the last 10 years, where they're playing their brand of volleyball, and club-wise, we're playing a lot more across-state with them, and I think that's done nothing but help as well. So, yeah, volleyball is definitely on the up and up. This is something that I think has been on the radar for girls basketball coaches now for 5 or 10 years, where they've seen their numbers go down, and the depth is just not there. They've got the stars. The stars are good. The stars are just as good as they ever have been, but the depth is just not even close to where we were even 10 years ago.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Jamie Parrish has been on this early, the Washington head girls basketball coach. He was in on this pretty early saying, hey, basketball maybe has an issue. It's still a big sport in Sioux Falls, but volleyball is second behind track and field. It's track and field, volleyball, and then basketball for girls. Jason, on the boys' side, Sioux Falls, King, football. So football, 967 kids. That's the most for any boys' sport. It's a big number sport. I get that. What do you think about the drop-off from middle school to high school? I'm looking at the Sioux Falls survey. 240 kids in 8th grade, down to 174 by freshman year, down to 109 by sophomore. Is that just normal? It's like, kids just fall off. They realize they maybe aren't going to be a player.
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly what it is. It's normal. It's a lot of kids who think they want to get hit in the mouth and do all the extra work, and then they start seeing how much work's involved, and maybe they don't have enough time to do that. So I think that's fairly normal to see that number go down from that middle school level to the high school level, but it's still a really strong number into the high school level.
How about this? 681 boys playing basketball in Sioux Falls last year, 461 girls. So you've got over 200 more boys playing basketball from middle to high school in Sioux Falls than girls. So that's another note on girls basketball. Jason Andera on tonight. I got one more for you. Chuck Todd, of Meet the Press, the political guy. I didn't think I would ever talk about him on my sports show, but he's made headlines. He said if he was starting a local sports media company, and you've been in sports media a long time, if he was starting a sports media or a media company, not a sports one, a media company, his number one focus first would be local sports. And he said somebody should start streaming youth sports. You go to this club, that club, and this club, and you stream youth sports. Are you buying that you could make a business off of streaming youth sports? Not high school, youth.
No, I mean, it would be tougher than you think. Although people at that level, I mean, you're not going to get the broad interest, I don't think, that you do with high school sports, but the people who are watching are very fervent viewers and might be willing to pay the pay-per-view, whereas in high school, I don't think you're going to have very many people that are willing to pay any pay-per-view. So I think that's probably what he's talking about. I'm not sure if that's the best business plan. I think a lot of people can get into that business, but it's really a hard business to do well. And I think that's why a couple of businesses, streaming companies around here have survived and some have fallen off. It's a lot of work. And you're talking about doing a lot of youth leagues. Oh man, you're asking a lot of just things that could possibly go wrong with a lot of different events. So that would not be my choice in doing a business in local sports, but more power to whoever maybe comes up with a good solution on that.
I asked that question of the day, and my audience said 51% said yes, people would watch youth streaming games. 49% say no, not enough interest. Split down the middle.
Yeah.
Jason Andera. So you're trying to tell me that you're not going to be streaming the Sioux Falls Little League anytime soon? I mean, that's a gold mine right there.
You're right. There are events like the Little League World Series. There's things that probably would do well. Maybe the junior football championships or things like that.
Yeah.
Might do all right, but I don't know if you could make a whole business out of that. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. You're not talking to the right person business-wise when you're talking to me. I'm along for the ride.
Okay, I'll see if you want to come on this ride. We'll see. Stay tuned. Jason Andera in tonight. Find him at Inside the 605. High school sports will be here before you know it. Hope you're enjoying summer, man. I appreciate you coming on.
All right. Thanks, Nate.
Thanks a lot. Jason Andera popping on, getting us started tonight from Sioux Falls, high school sports analyst. Good guy, good coverage. Find him on X at 605 Jandy. Question of the day today. Why is volleyball outpacing basketball in Sioux Falls? This school survey went out. 727 girls playing volleyball last year. 461 girls playing basketball last year. Why didn't some of those volleyball players go and play basketball? That's a lot of times how that goes. It's like, I play volleyball in the fall, I play basketball in the winter. Is it the club sport? I play volleyball, and then I go and play club volleyball in the winter. That also has something to do with it, but why do you think almost 300 more girls in Sioux Falls played volleyball as compared to basketball last year? It's easier physically, is that part of it? Or basketball is too exclusive, not enough spots? 605-720-1067. A lot of people responding here. I want yours as well. We'll get into what a college volleyball coach just responded to me on this question about why is volleyball a little more popular, at least right now in Sioux Falls, according to this survey. 605-720-1067 on the text line. Your take. Brian Noe is in next. Our next guest live, national host from Fox Sports Radio and a Dolphins fan. What does he have to say about all the moves going on? Brian Noe from Fox Sports Radio next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Celebrate the freedom of summer at Splash City's Infrared White and Blue Sale, June 27th through July 14th. Relax like never before with spa-quality infrared saunas, and bring home the ultimate in comfort with hot tubs and swim spas from Jacuzzi, Sundance, and American Whirlpool. Enjoy 0% financing for 6 years and save up to $5,000 in factory direct rebates on qualifying models. Summer fun, summer savings. Only at Splash City in Rapid City, Sioux Falls, and Sioux City.
Splash City, get to it for fun. Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
At Ace, your backyard is right in our backyard. So when you need to feed your grass, remove the weeds, or wrangle those leaves, go to the best place that delivers on top brands like Ego, Toro, and Steel. No warehouse store can match the convenience of your locally owned neighborhood Ace. So stop on by. You can also order online for curbside pickup or get what you need delivered. Around the block, what you need in stock with people who know their lawn care. At participating stores.
Hi, folks. Kevin McPherson, McPherson Auction Company. On today's online-only auction, we are selling surplus items for the city of Spearfish, South Dakota, and the Spearfish school system. Desks, chairs, restaurant equipment, a Hobart mixer, and a Cambro salad bar on casters that are just like new. Vehicles, tractors, equipment, a Snow-Go snow auger. Some very usable items on this auction. Online auction beginning to close at 6 p.m. For more auction details and to bid and buy, go to McPhersonAuction.com.
Get away from it all in the great outdoors for lasting family memories with a new or pre-owned RV from Dakota Discount RV. We make your RV experience fun and easy by providing you with a quality recreational vehicle, competitive pricing, and professional sales and service. Our large inventory of fifth-wheelers, travel trailers, toy haulers, and live-in horse trailers allows us to save our customers thousands of dollars compared to most dealers. Stop by and see us at Dakota Discount RV, 3330 East Mall Drive across from Cabela's and on JB Road, Blackhawk.
Being in business has its rewards as well as its challenges. It means being the first one in the door in the morning and turning off the lights when you leave at night. Your business is unique, and you need a bank that understands your needs. You deserve the best. You need a financial partner that is invested in your success. You need Pioneer Bank and Trust. Don't settle. Pioneer. Pioneer Bank and Trust. Local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
The Spring Hill Suites Bar at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort presents the ultimate party on the patio. Every Thursday from 5 till 7 p.m., enjoy martinis and mules from their new specialty cocktail menu. Plus, $2 off all Tito's handmade vodka drinks and $2 off draft beers. And to add to the fun, there's live music on the patio. It's martinis, mules, and live music every Thursday from 5 till 7 p.m. at the Spring Hill Suites Bar and Patio at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort in Deadwood.
If you're in the market for a vehicle right now, you probably have noticed it's sometimes hard to find the right one. That's where Summit Automotive Group steps in. Stacy and Matt and their staff working hard to get a great selection of pre-owned vehicles at affordable prices. At Summit Automotive, they have a different outlook on selling you a vehicle. You'll experience stress-free shopping, friendly, honest service with no high-pressure sales gimmicks. Before you buy, drop by East Highway 44, SummitAutoGRP.com.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio, South Dakota Sports Talk Show, rolling tonight. Thanks for being here. Our question of the day: why is there more girls playing volleyball in Sioux Falls than basketball? Why do you think? That's our question of the day. A lot of people sounding off, including a college volleyball coach. She just chimed in on this. Division II volleyball coach saying, here's why volleyball is getting more popular for girls. And Sioux Falls just did an athlete participation survey. It's really interesting. More girls playing volleyball than basketball. We'll get to that. Hang on. Hey, Brian Noe's on tonight. He's ready. Fox Sports Radio national host. He was in for Ben Maller. Unbelievable. Pulling the all-nighter. I like it. Brian Noe is back on. His show is Countdown on the weekends. Fox Sports Radio. Brian, what's going on today? How are you?
I'm good, Nate Brown. How are things with you? I got to apologize. This is why you're such a veteran. A little peek behind the curtain. So I'm an idiot, and I didn't put my ringer on. I instead put it on vibrate.
Oh.
And my ears are not like supersonic in nature, so I didn't hear my phone vibrating. I had no idea. And then I saw that I had a text from you, and I called you back, and we connected. And you being the savvy pro, no one would have been the wiser except for me spilling the beans right now.
I'm telling you, man, there's so many moving parts with just pros around here. You know how this goes. Just anything for the audience. So thanks for getting in on this tonight. By the way, I have you on, Brian. No, I told everybody, you're a Dolphins fan. You are a Dolphins fan. So I would like your reaction to what the Dolphins are doing. They get Minkah Fitzpatrick. They give up Jalen Ramsey. What's going on? Are you okay with the Dolphins?
I think this specific trade, Nate, like Minkah Fitzpatrick is a fantastic player. So getting him back, I think, is a great bonus for the Dolphins. But it's connected to all the players that they've lost this entire offseason, you know? Where you look at, now you've lost your number one corner, your number one tight end. You replace him with a guy that's just coming out of retirement now, in Darren Waller. It's like you look at the roster, and there are so many spots where they've taken a step backward. Teron Armstead retires, you know? You've lost, Calais Campbell is gone. So you've lost a lot of talent collectively on that roster. So I think it's two different things, Nate. I think it's when you look at it collectively, the whole offseason, and how much talent the Dolphins have lost, and then just looking at this specific trade where you get a major player back in Minkah Fitzpatrick, and that softens the blow. But it's still, you lost two difference makers for one difference maker. I'm not great at math, but seems like you kind of lost out on that whole equation right there to me.
Okay, so how do you seem to not feel too great. What do you think the Dolphins are doing? What are they trying to do?
I think that they're trying to reset the roster, Nate, where this is the deal, right? We've talked about it a lot with San Francisco and Brock Purdy, but it's the same concept with my Dolphins and Tua. I like Tua. Tua is a good quarterback. He's been productive, but it's a big but. He's been banged up quite a bit. He's missed a lot of games. And if I'm being completely honest, he's not a star. He's not a top 10 quarterback. He's not a difference maker, where when you're paying a quarterback that amount of money that Tua is making, he has to compensate for the rest of the roster where you have to cut corners. You can't pay everybody. So that's what the Dolphins have done. This is the offseason of cutting corners and trimming the roster down. And then when it comes down to it, you don't have a quarterback that's a difference maker and a big enough star to compensate for all those deficiencies on the roster. And so long story short, you're screwed. You're basically screwed when you're overpaying a quarterback who's good but not great, and you're paying him elite money. That's where you really pay for it in the end, because he's not good enough to compensate for those when you have to skimp elsewhere.
Okay, on this related note, one more NFL hitter. Are the Steelers now really good? DK Metcalf, Aaron Rodgers, Jalen Ramsey, are they really good?
I think that the Steelers roster is pretty good, Nate. When you look at it top to bottom, it's pretty good. But the big question is Aaron Rodgers, right? If you look at it glass half empty, one of the questions I would have is Rodgers' health. You know, he's 41. He's no spring chicken anymore. He battled injuries last year, hammy, knee, ankle. I don't think being older all of a sudden he's going to find the fountain of youth, so he's probably going to have some injury issues throughout the season. Most likely he'll be dealing with some stuff. So you can't expect him to be prime Rodgers or even close to that. What made him special is getting outside the pocket, extending plays, throwing off platform. He's not that version of himself anymore. And then I like DK Metcalf, but Rodgers, he needs a number one receiver that is precise. And that has not been what DK Metcalf is known for in the NFL, where Rodgers is like, all right, it's 12 yards and in. Not 13, not 11, 12, you know? And so DK is a little bit more of a freelancer. He's not known as a specific wide receiver, and it makes me think of, remember Chad Ochocinco, who was very talented. When he went to New England, that's what Brady needs. He needs you to be ultra-specific, and that's not what Chad was, and it didn't work. So there's a part of me that wonders how dynamic those two are going to be together. So that's the glass half empty version, but talent-wise, if things go as well as they can go, yeah, they've got a pretty talented roster. They should have a good defense. If they have a better offense collectively, yeah, I think that they could be a 10-win team, maybe challenge for 11 wins ceiling and try to win a couple of playoff games. That's probably what you're topping out at. But I don't think the ceiling is as low as they're going to be 9-8 and lose their first-round playoff game. And I don't think that's the ceiling. I don't think that's the absolute greatest potential that they have. I think it's a little bit higher than that, Nate.
Brian Noe joining us tonight. His show is Countdown, Fox Sports Radio. He's filling in for Ben Maller as well. That's big time. I like that. Let me ask you a WNBA question. I want your expertise. If Brian Noe is voting for the WNBA All-Stars, would you vote Caitlin Clark as the 9th-ranked guard like the players just did?
No, I would not, Nate. It's crazy. It is. It's I don't know what's going on with that league. But what's funny is I saw a tweet from Dick Vitale.
Yes.
And he was. You saw the same thing, Nate?
Yes.
Yeah, where he was really backing up Caitlin Clark and saying, what are the players thinking? Caitlin, maybe they'll appreciate her years from now, what she's meant for the league and that sort of thing. And then I look at the mentions, and it's a mixed bag. But I used to work with this guy, Aaron Fentress. He was out in Pacific Northwest. We worked at the same station together in Portland. And he had a really interesting comment that was, critical of Caitlin. And he said, look, man, just for this season alone, I'm paraphrasing, but he's basically like, just for this season alone, she's not even qualifying among the league leaders. She's missed a bunch of games. She's shooting like at a 39-29 clip. And so, if you're just going by this season alone, the hater players have a leg to stand on. We know Caitlin Clark is way better than just the 9th-ranked guard right now in the WNBA. If you look at that list, some of the players, like her own teammate, Kelsey Mitchell, is ranked ahead of her. Like, you put Kelsey Mitchell on another team, or you put Caitlin Clark on that same team, who's making a bigger difference?
Yes.
It's Caitlin Clark by miles. It's not even close. But if you're going by just this specific season alone, then, it does lend itself to, it's not the craziest, most outrageous thing ever to say this season, she's turned it over a lot. She's been banged up. She's not shooting it at a high clip. There's something to be said as far as that goes. Even with all that said, I think she's higher than 9th, but it does make it a little less crazy if you look at it like that.
Okay, I've had people say, look at her numbers, and I was like, I watch Caitlin Clark. I almost watch all of her games. She does impact the game in so many other ways. She is not shooting well, I will say that. She impacts the game in so many other ways. Let me ask you on this. My question from my audience was, will the WNBA players, this group of players, whoever it is, the people that aren't voting for, will they ever get over this? Like golf embraced Tiger eventually. There was some pushback early. I'm not so sure the WNBA will embrace her in, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Will they ever, the old guard, say, man, she has made a difference?
I don't think they will, Nate. I don't think they're going to soften on this because I don't know if this is a different deal because we're talking about a woman's sport, but men typically are not this jealous, of another star. Where if a star is getting a lot of attention, I don't see other NBA stars just hating on that guy, because he's getting a lot of attention and props. But that's certainly what's happening in the WNBA. You can't convince me otherwise. And non-basketball playing women, sometimes they operate the same way, where this girl walks in and all the heads turn like, who's that? A lot of the girls are like, I'm not a big fan of that girl right over there, right? So I don't know that it's going to change, Nate. They're dug in pretty well. And they resent the success. I'll give you a specific example because Angel Reese said this last year. It was last June, and she had a post-game interview, and she said, I want y'all to know that you're watching for me, too. It's not just for one player in the league, that you're watching for me as well.
Yeah.
And it's like, it couldn't be more obvious. She's talking specifically about Caitlin Clark. And a lot of people resent the attention that Caitlin Clark is getting. That's not going to change.
Yeah.
She's going to get a ton of attention. It's not going anywhere. But that's what turns into partially where she's ranked 9th. I'll say real fast, it reminds me of, I'll make an NFL comparison, right? Think about Josh Allen, the Bills quarterback.
Yes.
Because going into last season, a lot of people are like, man, a lot of turnovers, he's overrated, and the GM, Brandon Beane, pushed back, and it's like, what are we talking about right now? But it reminds me a little bit of Caitlin, where, yeah, you could say, hey, sometimes Josh Allen turns the ball over a little bit too much. Sometimes he's a little reckless. But he makes way more good plays than bad plays. His impact overall is way more on the good side than the bad side. It's the same thing with Caitlin Clark. It wouldn't make any sense to say, Josh Allen, the turnovers, he's the 9th best quarterback. That's insane.
Correct.
So it's also crazy to say that about Caitlin.
A perfect example. I referenced Josh Allen. And by the way, not too many NFL players are jealous of Josh Allen either. It doesn't seem that way.
Right.
But,
that's right.
It's bizarre. Brian Noe on tonight. His show is Countdown. It is on Fox Sports Radio. Get some rest, man. You've been popping in for Ben Maller. I appreciate you hopping on the Nate Brown Show.
Anytime, Nate Brown. You know what? You ever see Lone Survivor, the Mark Wahlberg movie?
Yeah.
Where they show, like the military stuff at the beginning, and they're not getting any sleep whatsoever. I could be sleep deprived. And if you say, Brian, I got time for you always, Nate.
Yes,
I'll sleep some other time. Always happy to be on with you,
As long as your phone is not on vibrate, okay? Thank you. Appreciate you.
Right.
I appreciate you. Brian Noe in tonight. Find him at Fox Sports Radio right here on the weekends on Countdown. Brian Noe. Find him on X as well, The Noe Show. Brian Noe on tonight, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. And we'll visit the question of the day. A lot of responses to our question of the day today. If you want in, I want you in there. 605-720-1067. That's the Barron's Wilson text line. Why do you think more girls in Sioux Falls, almost 300 more, played volleyball last year as compared to basketball? This is in a new Sioux Falls school survey. We'll discuss next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Santa came early. Renewal by Anderson's incredible Christmas in July event is so great, even Santa's shocked at the savings. Get 20% off plus no money down, no interest, and no payments for 18 months. That means no payments till 2027. Renewals Acclaim and Ensemble lines are the best of the best. Santa's not waiting till December to get new windows and doors. Neither should you. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
Siding, door, and gutter installation specialist since 1974. They use only the highest quality materials and never compromise on their workmanship. Collins Siding is licensed, bonded, and their estimates always include labor, materials, and applicable permits and taxes. Collins Siding has been providing top quality service and exceeding high standards for over 45 years, and you can find out how by visiting them at 2016 Cherry Avenue. Collins Siding, 2016 Cherry Avenue, Rapid City.
Remember when life was simple? Nope, me neither. The summer sun may feel great to us, but summer heat takes its toll on your vehicle. Don't risk your family's vacation fun by ignoring vehicle maintenance. When it comes to your vehicle maintenance or repair, keeping it simple is easy. The ASE certified technicians at Al's D&I can make sure your car is in top running condition. Maintenance now or fix it later. Most vehicles, most years, and most countries. Al's D&I can fix them. Check in at Al's D&I on Sturgis Road and online at alsdniautorepair.com.
Hey golfers, have you experienced Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club? Golf Digest ranked Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club the #1 public course in South Dakota. Off Exit 17 in Spearfish, Elkhorn Ridge offers a golfing experience second to none. Play their 18-hole championship layout with your buddies. Stop into Miller Creek Pub for some drinks, or bring the family out for lunch and try out the new putting green right below Miller Creek Pub. Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club has it all. Book your next tee time at elkhornridgeresort.com.
This is The Nate Brown Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show. You found us. Thanks for being here. Hope you've had a great Tuesday so far. The afternoon drive just rolling tonight. South Dakota Sports Talk Show streaming on X right now. Follow us at Nate Brown Show. You can watch us on your phone. Take us with you wherever you're at. Just get on the X app and watch us at Nate Brown Show. Follow the show there. Answer a question of the day. That's a good place to interact. We check X a lot throughout the show. Also on YouTube right now, The Nate Brown Show. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. You've got every live show there. And then you've got the archive shows if you missed anybody. The Nate Brown Show on YouTube. Getting set for the second hour. A lot to cover still. Chris Denker is going to join us, former D1 college basketball coach, pro basketball scout, AAU club director. He's done it all. Chris Denker talking hoops coming up from San Jose, California. Question of the day. Speaking of basketball, why does Sioux Falls have more girls playing volleyball last year than basketball? Just my question. Almost 300 more. That's the new Sioux Falls school survey from this past year. Almost 300 more girls in Sioux Falls schools played volleyball as compared to basketball. Why do you think that is? What's the biggest reason volleyball has more participants? There's various answers coming in. I gave a couple of options on our X survey. Is it because it's easier physically? And I'm getting some agreement there, but then I'm getting some pushback there. I'm not talking about like easier skill-wise. So I want to make sure everybody, when I say easier physically, there's no doubt that basketball is more physically strenuous. There's no doubt about that. Basketball is explosive. Explosive. You got to be cardio. You got to be strong. You got to be physical. Up and down, defense, offense. There's a lot of contact there. There's a lot of really, really fast-paced plays. So that's what I mean by it's easier physically. I believe that has to be one of the reasons. That's one of my reasons. Another one is basketball too exclusive as you go along in school. There's 5 starters, and then do 3 kids get to shoot it? And I'm serious about that. It just depends on the coach. Some coaches have it wide open. They're going to play 8 players, and there's a lot of roles, but there's some coaches. It's tight. We got our starters. We're going to play 6 or 7, and we got like 2 players that score. So then when the rest of the players aren't involved or not getting to play, I think girls bail. So those are a couple of things that I threw out. What do you say? 605-720-1067 on the Nate Brown Show. Question of the day. That's the Barron's Wilson text line if you want to answer that question of the day. 56% of the votes right now on my poll say it's because volleyball's easier physically. 56%. 44% say it's because basketball shuts people out. It's too exclusive. Let's see if we have somebody. I think we do. Thanks for calling. You're live, and you go ahead.
Hey, Nate. One thing I was thinking of is just a proximity to the University of Nebraska. Like, the volleyball program is giant there at Sioux Falls. Like, I think the Midwest volleyball's really grown a lot, and it's really successful, especially in the Big Ten Conference.
I think that's legit. I do think that's legit. I mean, Nebraska, it could be, it's one of the top programs in the country.
Yeah, and it's like, I think that's a big part of it. I do think, volleyball is a demanding sport physically, but I do think maybe it might appeal to the less, people that don't want to get, physical and guarding and stuff.
Yes.
Volleyball players are tremendous athletes. It's unbelievable to watch.
See, and I'm not saying that. I'm saying
I
up
know
and down.
You're not.
Yeah,
no, you're not.
yeah.
I know you're not. Yeah.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for getting in. And that's what I mean by it's easier physically. We got a college volleyball coach. Let's go to her response. She just responded on here. Division II college volleyball coach responded to our question of the day today. From Coach, her response, easier physically is borderline insanity. Volleyball is faster paced, scoring more interesting, way more opportunities to be a part of play, so many different skills. And in South Dakota, there are many great college programs at all levels girls are looking up to and growing up around. One more from the college volleyball coach. It's a really, really fun sport, dramatic, requires athleticism. You can contact the ball with any part of your body. Okay, sincerely, a volleyball coach. I like that. I appreciate that response. I like volleyball. My daughter just started playing volleyball in school last year. Hasn't played volleyball. Has been a soccer player. Has been a basketball player. It's like, I want to play volleyball. She loves volleyball. Like really likes volleyball. So I get this culture. The girls are really liking volleyball. Let's see. Listener reaction. Volleyball takes more athleticism, teamwork, and has a better competitive environment. And I don't know about that. I don't know. I'm not going to say volleyball's more athleticism and stuff. I'm not telling you basketball is either. I think basketball is a harder sport physically to play, not skill-wise of setting, spiking, digging, that thing. I'm talking up and down, explosive, conditioning, physical, guard, rebound. It's just tough, and it's real. Volleyball is a little more like you say it's just like soccer. Soccer is more physically demanding too. People think, you just kick the ball. Not quite. Watch a real soccer game. Especially the men, they flop all the time. What a bunch of wussies. Girls are tougher playing soccer than men. I'll tell you that right now. What a bunch of wussies. Let's see. One more on this. I would say the volleyball culture is just different. Lots of girls just seem to be gravitating towards it over basketball. And another one, listener text, only 5 girls play in basketball. Another listener text, the same 6 girls play the entire basketball game, then the other girls lose interest. So I do think there's some of that, too. I think there's some of that. I think there's various answers, as usual, to the question of the day. Trying to pin it down. I think the physical part of this is part of it. Basketball being exclusive is part of it. The club sport of volleyball has exploded. So then girls are like, well, I can play volleyball now year-round, and I'm not going to play another sport, basketball, in the winter. So then they do club volleyball. I think that's all part of it. Interesting. Sioux Falls had over 700 girls play volleyball last year. Over 400 played basketball. And, for example, boys basketball in Sioux Falls, they almost had 700 boys playing it. So it is a lower number of girls playing basketball in Sioux Falls, a little bit lower than you would have thought. All right, into the second hour, I've got something for you. It is this July 1st. What is happening today? What's happening? You're listening to the Nate Brown Show. No, college sports has changed today. But guess what? I'm going to make a prediction. There is going to be a lawsuit in this specific category, I'm not talking Title IX or anything. Those are already going. I'm talking with college sports and the change today. One of the big lawsuits coming down the lane will be next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Santa came early. Renewal by Anderson's incredible Christmas in July event is so great, even Santa's shocked at the savings. Get 20% off plus no money down, no interest, and no payments for 18 months. That means no payments till 2027. Renewals Acclaim and Ensemble lines are the best of the best. Santa's not waiting till December to get new windows and doors. Neither should you. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
Wrench Law, 605-341-1111, wrenchlaw.com.
Hey, sports parents and ballers of all ages, Rapid City has a new sports facility that you have to check out. E3 Sports Complex on East North Street is the newest indoor sports facility featuring 4 full courts. E3 Sports is here to serve the community and wants all athletes of any age to come and experience expert training, coaching, and the opportunity to unlock your athletic potential. Memberships and court rentals are available now. Come to play at E3 Sports Complex. Learn more at e3sports.org.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
What are you doing?
Just getting in the holiday spirit.
Isn't it a little early for jingle bells and Christmas in general?
It's never too early for Christmas. But Renewal by Anderson's Christmas in July sale just got me in the mood.
A window sale started all of this?
It's not just any window sale. It's Renewal by Anderson.
Okay, settle down. I'll get the ladder and we'll get started hanging the lights.
Renewal by Anderson's Christmas in July sale. 20% off every window and door. No money, no payment, and no interest for 18 months with approved credit. This means no payments till 2027. Hurry, the holiday savings end August 15th. Hassle-free, energy-efficient, low-maintenance windows with a professional fit. Renewal by Anderson uses Fibrex windows, keeping your home cooler in the summer, warmer in the winter, and reduces your energy bill. They do windows. They're the experts. No subcontractors. For a free in-home estimate and a perfect fit, go to RBARapidCity.com. That's RBARapidCity.com. Renewal by Anderson, when only the best will do.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
Hey, welcome back in. It's Tuesday, and it's South Dakota Sports Talk Show live. The Nate Brown Show. Glad to have you on board. We are on Fox Sports Radio across South Dakota. We're also streaming on X. If you have the X app, follow the show and watch us live at Nate Brown Show. It's easy to do right there on your phone at Nate Brown Show and on YouTube right now. The Nate Brown Show. Subscribe to the channel. You've got a second hour ready to go. Driven by Summit Automotive Group. When it comes to pre-owned selection, they've got it. And it's really car buying built around you. Experience the Summit difference. Start at SummitAutoGRP.com. For pre-owned in South Dakota, SummitAutoGRP.com. Second hour features Chris Danker. I want to get his read on a lot of hoops tonight. tonight. Former D1 college women's basketball coach, pro basketball scout, international coach, and now AAU club director. He's got it all. Chris is a good basketball guy. NetScoutsBasketball.com founder. He's live from San Jose coming up. We'll talk baseball. Post 22 is the number 1 seed in South Dakota Legion baseball. Can they hang on to it? The Firecracker Tournament, one of the all-time summer traditions, starting tomorrow. Talk to the Hard Hats head coach, Kelvin Torvey, coming up later this hour. Our question of the day is dealing with volleyball and basketball. A Sioux Falls school survey found there was more volleyball players, almost 300 more in Sioux Falls schools last year than girls basketball players. And I've always wondered why. So interesting responses coming in. By the way, can I say one thing I don't like? My daughter played volleyball in school last year, so yeah. The one thing I don't like, do we have to do the big celebrations after every point? I mean, we do a chant here and a dance there and a woo-ha, you-ha, you-ha. I mean, it's like, let's just keep. We don't have time to do that in basketball. When I'm coaching basketball, we don't have any celebrations. Let's get back and play D. All right. That's my only thing, okay? Can we do a little less celebrations on every point? I mean, there's a lot of points in volleyball. A lot of points. I don't know if we need the celebration on every one. You know what's happened today nationally? Here's a big story, and it's not being covered because we've all expected it to happen. I just want to remind you, July 1st, mark it down. July 1st, 2025. Mark it down. This isn't... I'm not hyperbole here. This isn't just Hot Take Central. July 1st, 2025 is the day that college sports really changed. We've had some big changes in college sports when the NIL started. That was a few years ago. Now, revenue sharing directly from schools starts today. So when you put this into perspective, if you're not aware of this, the big House settlement case has been decided. Schools have started today directly sharing revenue with players. And so what that means is there's a cap on this revenue sharing. So if you're at a huge school like Texas, Ohio State, whoever, the big Power Four, you can share $20.5 million is the number. That's the number, $20.5 million per year with your current athletes. So today's the day that has started, and I thought this was interesting. I'm like, how is this going to be shared? Well, universities get to decide what goes to football, what goes to basketball, and on down the line. So I have a little example for you. How do you think Arkansas's revenue sharing is going today? How do you think they're doing? The $20.5 million, they started sharing it today. Here's an example of, and this is just Arkansas today out of the SEC. But it's got to be an example and a model for all the other schools. So here's Arkansas' share today, $20.5 million. $14.97 million to football players. I was like, wait, it's $20.5 million. You're going to go $15 million to the football players. Okay, so Arkansas football gets $15 million. Let's call it $15 million. Arkansas basketball, $4.1 million. Men's basketball, okay, $4.1 million. That's Calipari there now. And then the last chunk, the big chunk of the $20.5 million, the big chunk, goes to Arkansas baseball today, $1.17 million. So when I say the revenue sharing goes to football, basketball, and baseball, that's a huge chunk. That goes to the players. I don't know exactly how it works. Like, if I'm a starter, do I get the same pay as the 15th guy on the baseball team? Do I mean, maybe I do. I don't know. So that's going to be determined. But that's the breakdown, which I thought was very interesting, as that was reported today. Arkansas's revenue sharing. You know what that leaves for the rest of the sports at Arkansas? I just went through that. $15 million, 4.1, 1.17. Football, basketball, baseball. How much money is left over for the other sports at Arkansas? Just under $300,000. I mean, it's like, Oh boy. So I can predict what's going to happen here. You already have the Title IX factor being thrown out there. And they're going to argue about this for a long time. This is going to go into the courts, and people are going to say, this doesn't apply. Title IX doesn't apply. This is a revenue sharing, and they're going to have this legal argument. So you're going to see this go on. But when you're given $15 million to the football team and just under $300,000 a year to the rest of the other sports, you're going to have some people upset. Now, here's the big lawsuit that nobody's discussing yet. The Title IX stuff, that's going to keep popping, I think. They're going to argue and argue and argue. But here's the big lawsuit. There's a clearinghouse that's going to determine which NIL deals work and which don't. So starting today, you can get your revenue sharing money from the football team or the basketball team. So you can get a revenue share chunk today. But you can also get NIL money. But it's going to go to a third party, an independent third party who's going to analyze, is this a market-driven NIL deal? This isn't pay to play. They're going to say, is this market-driven? And so I predict, here it is, the Nate Brown Show prediction. A first lawsuit will be coming down the line. Some athlete's going to do an NIL deal. It's going to be a $3 million deal, and it's going to require like 3 public appearances. It's going to get denied because it's not a market-driven thing. It's not NIL. And they're going to say, what do you mean? My NIL deal is wrongly denied. I got hosed here. This is unfair. So just wait. People think this has fixed everything. Today, July 1st, revenue sharing. Athletes are going to be happy. Everybody's going to get along. Another lawsuit coming. Let's just mark that today, okay? See if I'm ever wrong. First lawsuit was going to be say, my NIL deal got denied unfairly. I'm taking you to court. You can't deny me from getting $3 million for going to the Pizza Ranch. Thanks for playing. Coming right back with Chris Danker, Pro Basketball Scout, next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Celebrate the freedom of summer at Splash City's Infrared, White, and Blue sale, June 27th through July 14th. Relax like never before with spa-quality infrared saunas. And bring home the ultimate in comfort with hot tubs and swim spas from Jacuzzi, Sundance, and American Whirlpool. Enjoy 0% financing for 6 years and save up to $5,000 in factory direct rebates on qualifying models. Summer fun, summer savings. Only at Splash City in Rapid City, Sioux Falls, and Sioux City.
Splash City, can't do it for fun.
Could there be a better name? Auto Value Parts Stores. They aren't just about air fresheners or fuzzy dice. Auto Value Parts Stores are all about parts, auto parts, and advice. Pros who know auto parts with tons of tips when you need them the most. You want real value? Don't go to a place with a cute name. Go to Auto Value. Could there be a better name? I didn't think so. Your Auto Value Parts Store. We've got the parts, we've got the smarts.
Whether you're a pro or a Joe, a weekend warrior or a gardening great, Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is here when you need us. Nobody plans an injury, but when people throughout the Black Hills and beyond suffer a setback, Monument Health Orthopedics is here to provide comprehensive medical care. Our team of board-certified orthopedic surgeons and specialists is dedicated to helping patients regain the quality of life they've lost due to an injury, arthritis, or joint wear and tear. Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for everyday athletes like you.
Attention, Rapid City. More big news from Gateway Autoplex. We are expanding our services with our brand new state-of-the-art auto repair shop located right behind our lot, 123 Omaha Street. Gateway Tire and Alignment. That's right, Rapid City. We're now your one-stop shop for everything auto-related, from routine maintenance to major repairs. Our team of expert technicians has you covered. Plus, with our state-of-the-art equipment, you can trust that your vehicle is in the best possible hands. Visit Gateway Tire and Alignment and see why nobody beats a Gateway deal.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. A severe thunderstorm watch continues until 11 p.m. tonight. Slight chance of thunderstorms tonight, otherwise mainly clear skies. Lows dip down to about 65. Winds out of the southwest 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lots of sunshine again tomorrow. Slight chance of thunderstorms. High temperatures reach up to 95. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 66 degrees.
Heat up your summer at the Beat the Heat Pickleball Tournament, July 25th through 27th at the Box Elder Events Center. Whether you're crushing the competition or just in it for the fun, this high-energy 3-day showdown has something for everyone. Singles on Friday, doubles on Saturday, and co-ed action on Sunday. It's only $40 for one division or $60 for two. Beat the Heat Pickleball Tournament. Spots are filling fast. Rally your crew and register now at thebox.live.
Ready to be part of something big? Meet the Rapid City Sports Commission, the powerhouse behind sports in Rapid City. The commission focuses on bringing regional and national tournaments, supporting homegrown events, and creating opportunities for our kids. But it's not just games, it's a win-win for all of us. Youth sports fuel our economy. Hosting events in Rapid City means out-of-town families shop, dine, and stay with us, which boosts sales tax revenues too. To get in on the action, visit rcsportscommission.com, where we're all about the hustle.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
Your sports, your show, The Nate Brown Show, covering everything from high school to college to the pros. Got you covered tonight. If you missed any parts of the program, a reminder, the podcast is always available. Spotify, Amazon, Apple, wherever you get your favorite podcast. We have the show there. Search The Nate Brown Show, and then you can listen to the show on demand when you're mowing the lawn and all that good stuff. So search The Nate Brown Show wherever you get your podcast, and you've got the show. We're live tonight on Fox Sports Radio. Chris Danker's in. Want to talk some hoops across the board with Chris. Pro basketball scout, D1 coach, AAU club director, NetScoutsBasketball.com. Chris Danker back on the Pizza Ranch studio hotline. Chris, good to have you. How are you?
Good, Nate. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it, man. So you're a good women's basketball guy. You coach women's basketball in college. This deal with Caitlin Clark, I've talked to you about it, and I've kind of led to this now where she's a captain for the All-Star team. She got the most votes from fans in the history of the WNBA. I just went and watched Caitlin last week in Seattle. I planned my family's vacations around her games the last 2 years. See how I do that? It's very smart, Chris. Very good to do that. And so we went and watched her. We're big fans, and I just love watching the games now with the Fever and the whole thing. She's very popular, but the players are trying to say, I don't think so. They rank her 9th, and they're voting for guards. 9th for guards. What do you think this WNBA pushback is all about? Will it continue?
Well, I hope for all the reasons you just said about, the game and that you're taking family to go watch games, and obviously a lot of other families around the country are doing that, and you've seen attendance, on the rise, and we have an expansion team out here where I am. I'm in the Bay Area in California, and obviously now there's a Golden State franchise that's off to a great start for a first-year team, and there's talk of, potentially even 3 more clubs joining, and that just means, positive things for the women's game. Yet at the same time, the reason I said, I hope it ends is because to me, everything you see is negative, and it's coming from within. It's coming from the players, and it's shocking, and it's jealousy. It's ugly. It's ridiculous. But there's other things too. Some of the on-court behavior has been bad lately, and then the justification is, well, we wouldn't react this way, in the men's game. Well, there's not fights every night in the men's game. There's an occasional one, and there could be an occasional one in the women's, but not. There's a pushing and shoving thing going on in every game, and not just Caitlin Clark, but those are the ones that then tend to get some headlines. It happens in all games, Vegas, you name it, and then also. A couple of players recently in the news, have been traded or demanded to I'm done playing for such and such a team.
Yeah.
And there's been more than one of those. And so that is just ugly. I mean, just the whole thing about it, right when you would think
hey, I'm a player. I'm maybe getting up in my career. Let's latch on for a few more years. The money's going to be better. I can maybe get some endorsements out of this. Let's write it off. No. We got to start trying to be negative with everything, and I just don't understand it. And obviously there is, per your question, a lot of it is directed at Caitlin Clark.
So here's the thing. Caitlin hasn't had an outstanding year. If people have followed the game, I watch the games. She hasn't had an outstanding year, not shooting it nearly as well. She affects the game and impacts the game in different ways, so I still think she's an unbelievable player. But turnovers are high, not shooting it well. She's been injured. So people are trying to say, well, maybe that's why she's rated 9th as a guard. But I'm just telling Chris, as a basketball coach, Caitlin Clark, guard-wise, how good is she to you?
Yeah, I mean, she's outstanding, and I've said this before, I believe, on your show, where I've mentioned some players like Jackie Young, who I think is a good player. Obviously, Kelsey Plum was on the Olympic team, and I'm a big Sabrina Ionescu fan. And if you look at, and you're right, her statistics have not been maybe as stellar. But see, we're a little bit nitpicky or spoiled when we say that, because her stats this year would be career best for many, 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 if not all,
right.
of the guards in the WNBA. So, you're right in saying that, and her shooting percentages are down a little bit, and I do attribute some of that to being in and out because of these injuries she's been fighting. But, she's averaging just a tick under 19 a game. I think it was like 8.9 assists, so let's call it 9. 5 rebounds, one of the best rebounding guards in the league. I think she'd rank, I want to say it's 3rd in the league in steals if she qualified. And again, you have to play X number of games. But her stats across the board, and then if you look at the ranking that you referred, where she's, the players ranked her as the 9th best guard or something ridiculous. I mean, she's better statistically than virtually every one of those players across the board in every category. Now, there's a couple players that do score, a point, maybe 2 points more than her. But, I mean, it's just crazy to even be talking about it, quite frankly.
All right. Do you think this hangs on? That's been my question for people today, meaning, will they eventually embrace Caitlin Clark as, we're not as jealous. We love the crowds. We love the attention. We love the TV ratings. All of this stuff should lift everybody, and I think they could really ride the high. Will they embrace it?
Honestly, I think, Nate, the answer to that, and I everything you just said, I completely agree with. And again, I think the first thing I said is I hope so. Well, what I mean by that is that I think somebody in the league needs to say, look, now it doesn't mean the players are ever going to listen, and they probably won't, quite frankly, but it's to say, do you understand, what you're potentially doing here? You're hurting yourselves, you're hurting the league as a product. Let's try to, and again, it doesn't mean that they have to necessarily embrace her, but it's the jealousy towards her. You'd be better off. It's kind of like, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. The old rule my grandma used to tell me. Well, just don't say anything. Don't say anything negative, but just don't say anything. Say something positive about, some other player in the league, Stewie or Nafisa Collier or somebody else. Just say, hey, she's awesome, great play, boy, really tough to play against, or hey, Becky Hammond's a heck of a coach over there, boy. They're just a really good team in Vegas. Like whatever, but not just go out of your way to say, oh yeah, she's bad or she's not as good as everybody thinks, or now it's let's compare others, to her. Just somebody. Skylar Diggins has a good game, and it's all of a sudden it's Skylar Higgins is better than Caitlin Clark, and it's like. Nobody asked, but okay.
All right. I will say it's not everybody, Chris. It's not everybody. I think it's the old guard, because Paige Beckers just said over the weekend, man, Caitlin Clark is awesome. She brings in all these fans. They're coming because of her, but then they see all of the other players. Paige Beckers, I thought that was perfect. That's what she said, and I thought, how does the young rookie know that and not everyone else is willing to say it?
Yeah, no, you're right, and I agree with you. I saw that, and that's exactly what I mean. Why can't you just be positive about the game, about the league, whatever the case may be, and leave it at that. I just, and she's one who's having a great year and is going to be an all-star. And, she seems pretty secure in her own skin and whatnot. And so it's like, it can work for you if you just be a little more polite, professional, whatever the proper word, adjective is. Just stop being so negative. It's hurting the product. It's really creating a lot of animosity.
I'm with you. Chris Denker on tonight, former D1 college coach, pro basketball scout, netscoutsbasketball.com. Let's go to the NBA because there are a lot of shifts here. I want your read on this. Kevin Durant to the Rockets. You say what? How good is that for the Rockets?
It's interesting. Anytime there's these trades where it's, 1 for 5, or 1 and a throw-in for 3 and then 2 draft picks kind of deal, I always kind of look at the big picture. I look at the whole thing and go, hold on. Because that's what's made the Celtics so good, right, is things like that. That's what's made OKC so good, is if you go back now, 6-8 years later and you look at who did they really trade Paul George for? OKC, I'm talking about now. Who did they really trade him for? And then you come back and it's Jalen Williams and it's 4 draft picks and it's these guys that started and that turned into Chet Holmgren and blah, 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 blah. And, oh, by the way, they won the championship. I think you've got to look at that whole, picture. Now, do you get a guy who's been there, done that, one of the, great players of all time who can score and gives you such a unique size, shooter, matchup type of guy? Well, for sure. I mean, KD is that guy. And so, and I will say this. I felt like Jalen Green was hurting them. I think he was a little overhyped and, certainly has tons of talent and, probably worthy of a high draft pick, but they put too much into him, I felt. And so he never really panned out in the playoffs for them. But now that team, they're taking some shape. But when you lose, the numbers they did and all that, can they get it done in the next year to 2 years? Because the window is going to be fairly short. And then the other thing I would add is, Dylan Brooks, for, all of his antics on the court. I mean, there are a lot of things that he does that helps you win in his defensive ability, but I think he and Fred VanVleet and their leadership were really key. Now you're trading, one veteran for another and hoping you'll get leadership from KD, but I think Dylan Brooks did some good things for them too, so you're going to lose a few things there in that trade.
Kevin Durant to the Rockets, and then I'm thinking about some other ones here. It's not a trade, but Cooper Flagg, #1 pick last week. How good can the Mavericks be with Flagg, Irving, Anthony Davis?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of his. I think he's a extremely talented guy, and he can play all over the place, handle the ball for his size, and just do so many things. So I do like that. Can they get people back and healthy? They got a couple pieces there that you just mentioned that have had some injury issues over the years, and obviously, unfortunately, we've seen a lot of that lately with Tatum and Halliburton and the Achilles thing that's kind of been going around and different things like that. But if everybody can get healthy, certainly you're adding a really, really good piece to that. Now he's young, but you're adding a really good piece to that team. I think there's a few teams that are making a lot of moves right now. They're, I like the Knicks haven't made a ton, but I like some of the guys they picked up. Denver's been really good. They've been really active. I like the Cam Johnson trade for Porter, and he costs, I think it's like 10 or 12 million less, maybe more, and he's just about as good as of a player and shooter and all that. And then Tim Hardaway Jr. today, they got Valanciunas, who now can back up the center position there, and Brown they get back from they had him a couple years ago and he went away. Now he's coming back, so I think Denver, look out there. They've kind of added to their depth, which was a problem for them this year. So interesting how the coach and GM thing, they're gone. And now this GM's doing some really good things, in my opinion.
I'm with you on the Nuggets. Big moves for the Nuggets around Jokic. Look out for the Nuggets, maybe. Chris Denker on tonight, netscoutsbasketball.com, live on the Nate Brown Show. Chris, always great. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it, Nate.
Appreciate your time. Chris Denker in tonight, netscoutsbasketball.com, former D1 college coach and pro basketball scout. Let's go Legion Baseball. Talk to the head coach of the Post 22 Hard Hats. They're the number 1 seed in Legion Baseball. How good are the Hard Hats right now? Hitting their stride with the Firecracker tournament starting tomorrow. Kelvin Torvey's the head coach, live next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number 1. So you can always be their number 1. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number 1 hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Santa came early. Renewal by Anderson's incredible Christmas in July event is so great, even Santa's shocked at the savings. Get 20% off plus no money down, no interest, and no payments for 18 months. That means no payments till 2027. Renewals Acclaim and Ensemble lines are the best of the best. Santa's not waiting till December to get new windows and doors. Neither should you. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute, and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
Therapist on your side who can help them through prehab, rehab, and then return to sport. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It takes a long time to get back to the field of sport, but it's not impossible to do it all by any means. So just having that end goal in mind can be really beneficial for the rehab process.
When it comes to ACLs and sports performance training and treatment, get started at ElevatePerformanceSD.com.
Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker Black Hills Legacy in Rapid City. Have you thought about buying a home or real estate in the Black Hills? Maybe you want to upgrade to your forever home? I have been helping people in the Black Hills find the right home for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. Let me do the work and you can open the door to your new home. Say hello to a good buy with me, David Brenneman. To get started, just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
Hi, this is Jeremy with Jerry's Cakes and Donuts, inviting you to kickstart your morning by dropping by and grabbing some fresh donuts. I want to thank you for voting us the best in the Black Hills. We're up early, making your favorite donuts, so stop by and bring some to the office. Everybody loves Jerry's Cakes and Donuts, and we love you, so stop by, get a great selection to brighten up your day. Serving Rapid City for over 40 years, Jerry's Cakes and Donuts at 109 East Omaha, and remember to like Jerry's on Facebook for some great giveaways.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, also streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
Hey, welcome back in. South Dakota Sports Talk Show across the state on Fox Sports Radio. Glad you're here. We talk high school to college to the pros. We talk Legion baseball, especially this time of year. The 50th annual Firecracker. Do I have that? How about that? The Firecracker Tournament, one of the summer traditions in Rapid City baseball, hosted by the Post 22 Hard Hats. Post 22 coming in here with a nice season. If you follow this, 35-5-1. Tell you that. Their head coach is Kelvin Torvey. They've been on a run, and they're getting set to open up the Firecracker tomorrow night, as a matter of fact. A lot of teams coming in. Hard Hats head coach on the Pizza Ranch studio hotline. Coach, good to have you on. How are you?
Doing well, Nate. Hope you are.
I'm doing good, man. Let me get your assessment. This is the time now, July. Firecracker, you want to be really hitting your stride here. 35 wins. How do you feel about the club right now?
Really good. Actually, I think according to Game Changer, we're 46-1.
Oh, I'll take that.
And so we've won 5 games that you don't know about, Nate. So I guess we're even better than I thought we were.
I like that.
Yeah, we're playing well, obviously, with that record. We just finished a 6-game swing to the eastern part of the state and won all of them. We're just playing well. Our pitchers are pounding the strike zone. We're playing really good defense, and but the main thing is we're competing well. And so, we have to keep it going. Like, I tell everybody I talk to, they don't hand out trophies for May and June. But I really like the way the makeup of this team.
Now, you tell me if I'm wrong on this. I talked to you as the season got going, and you thought, well, we could be pretty good. It felt like you got on an early run here, and it's just been that way. Did you think this was the type of team you had early on?
No. I do know, the coaches, Nick Ewing, Nick Kindred, and I got together, and we said, we think we have a bunch of guys who will run through a wall to win a game. But that's what we thought. We didn't know that for sure, and it turns out that to this point it has been true. We've got a bunch of guys that just really compete. I think the games in Watertown this weekend showed that. We beat Caden Rylance, who's probably one of the top 2 pitchers in the state. We beat him 1-0. McCoy Rippentrop threw 6 2/3 and shut him out, and Jace Morgan came in and got a 1-pitch save. And we won 1-0. And then the second game was where we were pretty much out of pitching. Carter Johnson started, who's really an outfielder. And then Brody Thompson, who's a catcher, came in, and we beat him 7-4. So, that's kind of who we are. And every day somebody else contributes. Our pitching has been pretty consistent all year, and we've got 2 or 3 hitters that are really, hitting well every day. But other than that, it seems like it's somebody different every day that's stepping up and getting a big hit, making a good play, stealing a base. It's been fun to watch.
Okay, baseball's one thing, Coach, but you got to have some camaraderie. You got to have that team connection. You've told me you've had those teams. How do you feel about these guys?
They're as far as I can tell, they're really close. Being the head coach, there's a little bit of separation there. From between the coach and the player. Our 2 assistants, Nick Kindred and Nick Ewing, they're a little bit closer to the guys than I am. But it just seems like they have each other's backs. And so, it's something that, you get into August, it gets hot, you travel. But we've done that. We went to Pueblo for 5 days, and then we came home for 15 hours and went to Omaha for 5 days. 2,100 miles in 10 days, and we played 13 games, and then we home a couple days, go to the eastern part of the state with their heat and humidity, and it seems like everybody's just pulling the rope in the same direction, so we just need to keep this thing rolling.
Hard Hats 40 wins entering the Firecracker. I want to ask you about the schedule this year, Coach. You talked about being on the road. You guys make no bones about it. You go on the road, you have some tough games and tough stretches. Feels like you're on the road quite a bit. Not as many home games. Is that something that you've had to handle?
Yeah, absolutely. We haven't played at home since the Veterans. And that was, I think June 5th was the last time. So it's virtually a month since we had a home game. And this was just one of those years where we had 3 Eastern South Dakota teams we had to go visit. And, we always go to Pueblo, and then we follow that immediately with Omaha. And so it's with those 2, and we're going to continue to go to those because they're really high-end tournaments that make us a better baseball team. So you get that's 2 weeks out of the middle of June. So next year we're going to try to be a little more careful with, sprinkling in some home games because our fans want to see it and our guys want to play at home. But, that was the hand we were dealt this year, and I think we've been handling it very well.
I wanted to ask you about your East River trip. You mentioned it a little bit this past week. Some good games out there. What does that tell you about maybe a state tournament coming up?
Well, again, not much. We played well. Yankton's good. They're very. Whenever you play Yankton, they're very competitive. Watertown's one of the better teams in the state. They've got a couple really good pitchers. I mentioned Rylance. They got a couple really good pitchers, and state tournaments at their place this year, which is always difficult. Last year it was in Brookings, and we played Brookings 4 times early in the year and ruled them 4 times. And then we get out there to the state tournament, and they're amped up. They got a huge crowd, and they beat us. So, the home team's always dangerous. The fact that we went out to play 6 games in 3 days, it taxed our pitching, it taxed our, our physical, our bodies and our mental, fatigue. It was taxing in every way, shape, and form, and we acquitted ourselves really well. So I think we're going to keep it going, and then we'll go to the state tournament and see what happens.
You're a believer in saying, hey, baseball's a cyclical thing. It doesn't matter if you're playing well in July, if you're not playing well at the end of July.
Right. Yeah. It's an everyday sport. And, you can take an inning or two off here and there, but you can't take games off. And so far, we've only had of our, 46 games, there's only been 2 or 3 where we really didn't compete the whole game. There's been games where 3 or 4 or 5 innings we didn't compete, but it seems like we always manage to sprinkle together an inning or two that makes the game competitive.
I think I have this 50 years of the Firecracker. This has been going on. It's a tradition. You guys start tomorrow night against Rocky Mountain. Talk about the Firecracker. You've been a part of it a long time. What do you think of the summer tradition?
It's fantastic. We get huge crowds. Fireworks night is, we get 3,000 people there. It's a lot of fun. It's the highlight of our home schedule every year because you always get good competition. Seems like every year we get a team from some exotic location. This year it's Napoleon, Ohio. A couple of years ago it was North Carolina. Last year we had the Rhode Island, I think. So we see, our fans see good baseball, and it's fun for our guys because it's just, like I said, the highlight of our home schedule. And so I'm just looking forward to a really good tournament.
Firecracker at Post 22's home starts tomorrow. A lot of good teams in town. The Hard Hat's going to try and keep it rolling. Head coach is Kelvin Torvey. Firecracker into the 4th of July. Coach, the best of luck to you. Always appreciate you hopping on.
Thanks, Nate. Appreciate your time.
Thanks a lot. Kelvin Torvey talking Post 22 baseball. Head coach of the Hard Hats. Are they the team to beat in South Dakota again? It appears that they would be that team. Number 1 seed right now in Legion baseball for South Dakota as they get set for the Firecracker. Going to play some out-of-state teams. Firecracker, fireworks night, always a Rapid City summer tradition. Hard Hats are 40-6. 40-6. See how that happens? We got some sources say 34, 35, some 40-6. You heard it from Kelvin Torvey. All right. Who's hot and who's not? On the Nate Brown Show, we always wrap up with some headlines you may have missed next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Save big on everything for your next staining project when you shop at Menards. Protect your deck with Cabot Heat Reducing Stain and Sealer. With its Cool Field technology, it deflects the sun's heat and reduces surface temperature by 20 degrees, allowing you to enjoy your deck all summer long. Save big money in all Cabot premium wood care products. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
It was only a few in the beginning, one here, one there. I knew it was illegal, but I liked doing it. Even my kids noticed. There's nothing worse than your 10-year-old telling you you're breaking the law. But I didn't hit the breaking point until I hit that little kid.
Addiction has many faces. Texting and driving when you know it's life-threatening and illegal can be one of them. Take back control. Put the phone down.
Brought to you by the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety, the South Dakota Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Kelley Blue Book Instant Cash Offer from Denny Menholt Toyota. Use your phone. It's fast and easy. Pull up our website, click on Value Trade-In, scan your VIN, and tell us about your car. You are on your way to a no-hassle, no-commitment cash offer on your vehicle in under 5 minutes. Bring your vehicle and your Kelley Blue Book Instant Cash Offer to Denny Menholt Toyota and get cash or trade-in credit today. See you soon at Denny Menholt Toyota, Rapid City.
Ever dreamed of building something amazing? Builders First Source in Rapid City, Spearfish, and Hot Springs is your go-to building materials partner. Whether you're building new or giving new life to an old space, we provide step-by-step guidance from drafting and cabinetry design to lifelike visualization and top-quality materials. It's your vision, and we're here to make it real. Visit BLDR.com. Builders First Source, your Black Hills partner in building every step of the way.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. A severe thunderstorm watch continues until 11 p.m. tonight. Slight chance of thunderstorms tonight, otherwise mainly clear skies. Lows dip down to about 65. Winds out of the southwest 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lots of sunshine again tomorrow. Slight chance of thunderstorms. High temperatures reach up to 95. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 66 degrees.
Imagine this, a bank that is committed to you, that understands your needs, your values, and your growth. No more settling for the status quo. Pioneer Bank and Trust offers tailored solutions, innovative services, and a team of experts dedicated to your success. You deserve more attention and more support from your bank. Don't settle. Pioneer. Pioneer Bank and Trust. Local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Ready to be part of something big? Meet the Rapid City Sports Commission, the powerhouse behind sports in Rapid City. The commission focuses on bringing regional and national tournaments, supporting homegrown events, and creating opportunities for our kids. But it's not just games, it's a win-win for all of us. Youth sports fuel our economy. Hosting events in Rapid City means out-of-town families shop, dine, and stay with us, which boosts sales tax revenues too. To get in on the action, visit rcsportscommission.com, where we're all about the hustle.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
Welcome back in. Glad you're here. Tuesday show packed tonight. Good guests across the board from South Dakota, across the country on the Nate Brown Show. And you can catch the podcast. We'll put it up tonight. Every show is there. Search the Nate Brown Show, and you've got us on demand on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you get your podcast. Search the Nate Brown Show. Welcome in. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live, Fox Sports Radio every night at this time. Who's hot and who's not? Brought to you by the Pizza Ranch. That's everyone's favorite buffet at East 10th Street, Sioux Falls. Also in Brandon and 2 locations in Rapid City. Get to the Pizza Ranch buffet. Everyone loves the Pizza Ranch, locally owned and operated. In our Who's Hot category, hey, I told you I was a little upset with the men's soccer team, right? They didn't look good early. Well, then they get into the Gold Cup, and now they've been on a run. They're missing a lot of players, but they're on a run. They just had a big win in the quarterfinals over Costa Rica, and it was the most watched non-final in Gold Cup match history. Most watched. Fox had it. 1.9 million viewers for the U.S. men's national team's 4-3 penalty kick win over Costa Rica. So, semifinal coming up, Gold Cup on Fox. Something to keep an eye on. So, the U.S. men's national team turning it up a little bit. I like that. Speaking of ratings in TV, now this is interesting. Where is racing? What is the upper echelon of racing and viewership? What's number one right now? Well, your guy Matt Kearney would tell you it's IndyCar. IndyCar beats everybody. Is that right? Ratings are out. So everybody, there's this new movie. What is it? F1? Have you seen this? Is Matt going to go watch this? But F1 with Brad Pitt. So you think F1's taking over everything. Ratings are out in my Who's Not. F1 U.S. average TV rating, 1.2 million per race. 1.2 million per race. It is beaten out by IndyCar's 2.0 million viewers per race. Is Matt Kearney right after all? Everybody tells me all the time, F1's the thing. F1's the thing. Kearney with an IndyCar top rope hit. Who's hot and who's not in the books? The Nate Brown Show out the door on this Tuesday. The podcast going up right now. And, of course, we're back live tomorrow on South Dakota Sports Talk Show.
We're fired up for the 4th at